All right. It's Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Here we go. Welcome to BYOQ. Bring your own questions. I'll bring the answers. Remember, down there in the Q&A sections where you put your questions, I'm looking forward to answering those. Please watch the replay if you want to catch up or miss anything. Go ahead. It's on the Playbook. Download it. You watch on YouTube. Email me if you want any guides for the BYOQ, my book for free. Go ahead and email me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you haven't joined my text community, please do. 949-298-2905. You'll get anything that you need. All right, let's get started. My favorite time of day. It's Q&A for the day. My boss never acknowledges how hard I work. How do I deal with that? Well, you're working for the wrong reason. Right? The acknowledgement of hard work, number one, is that you're not working hard. What makes your job so hard is what you should identify and learn to find the light, the love, and the lessons in what you perceive as being hard. Two, your boss will acknowledge what value you bring has no definition on you. We need to not vote for or worry about what other people acknowledge in us. We need to acknowledge and remember what value we're bringing, and the truth will come out, right? I promise you, you may or may not get a verbal acknowledgement. You may not get a financial acknowledgement, but sooner or later, the universe will acknowledge what you've learned, what you have within you, your energy. So first of all, there is no hard work. Find out why you think your work is hard. I believe in activity I get paid for, activity I don't get paid for. I find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything I do. I worry about people telling me I work so hard. Okay, so what's so hard about your work? And let's fix that first so that you can enjoy it. The more you enjoy your work, the more you find the light, the love, and the lessons, the less acknowledgement you will need. You will acknowledge that you're expanding, growing, accelerating, learning all the different skills that you need from that job, all the knowledge that you're gaining and knowledge of people that you're gaining, and increasing your desire to enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent pursuit of your potential, regardless of what your boss thinks. You will be rewarded. When you honor what you're doing, you will be promoted. When you honor who you're with, you will be promoted. When we honor, give attention and intention to what we want, it is promoted in our lives. When you're building your brand, what is the key to creating effective content? So when you are building your brand, detach your emotions from the outcome of how many followers or ambassadors that you have. Strictly try to continue to get better at communicating who you are as much as possible. I always tell people, when building your brand, if you're not annoying everyone that loves you, everyone that likes you, everyone that doesn't like you and hates you, you're not even close to the beginning of how much of your authentic, effective content you should be putting up there. You should be capturing who you are. So if you are the pimple popper, then you should be capturing as much pimple popping as you can, right? If you're the nail polish person, then you should be capturing as much nail polish and continually putting that up as a strong frequency. You are like a radio tower, and that signal can continue to go farther and farther, wider and wider to many different stations. And the clearer you have that message, the more that you do it, the more people it will resonate with. I don't care if you have 100 million followers. That is a peanut compared to the 4.4 billion people that are available to you and growing every single day. I want to work more autonomously, but I feel like I'm being micromanaged. How to change this? First of all, micromanagement. I hear this all the time. I had an anti-agent one time, and he complained to my business partner, oh, he's micromanaging me. No, I care. I'm actually trying to improve you, right? I don't understand people that are worried about being micromanaged. So what I would do is be grateful that someone cares enough to care what you're doing and ask them for their help. Ask them what they're looking for. Ask them what they're trying to get you to learn, and suggest to them, if you feel they're micromanaging them, it'd be easier if maybe you did this yourself, right? Both of us spending the exact same time on something that I know how to do. So he may have concerns or she may have concerns of your capabilities. Ask why you're getting so much attention. Find out why, what attention and intention means to you. I take it as a compliment when people care a lot about me. I take it as a compliment when people give me that type of attention. And if I was an employee, I'd worry about nobody caring what I'm doing. That's a bad sign. So take it as a compliment, find out why and what you're supposed to be learning about why you feel like you're being micromanaged. I think you're being loved. Um, I want to, sorry about that. Uh, how can I be more efficient? Very broad question, but in order to be efficient, we need to look at time and try to find systems that provide for efficiency. So the way that I do it is I look to see what do I do every year, every month, every week, every day, every hour, every minute, maybe even every moment, every second. But what do I do consistently and where can I find 4 minutes in it? I try to save 4 minutes in everything that I do into that continuum of time. Why? Because if I can save in efficient time, 4 minutes a day, it equals 24 hours a year, 3 full days of productivity a year, just by trying to seek 4 minutes in everything that I do of efficiency. But I start with the things that I do most every day. I started with brushing my teeth, flossing my teeth, and taking Listerine shot. And I realized that in the morning when I brushed my teeth, flossed my teeth, and took my shot to Listerine, I would daydream and I'd forget that I did this side, and I spend literally 6 minutes doing that. And when I got focused, when I paid attention and give intention to saving time in something that I do at least once a day, sometimes twice a day, I then saved 4 minutes. I put a clock up and said, can I do this, brush my teeth, floss my teeth, and take my Listerine in 2 minutes? Just from being efficient and focused and brushing my teeth, flossing my teeth, and taking Listerine, I saved 3 full days of productivity, 3 full days that I can spend with my family, that I could make money, have activity I get paid for, 3 full days I could volunteer to help other people's and change other people's lives, 3 full days. You know how many hours of training? That's 24 trainings a year that I'm capable of doing because I brush, flossed my teeth in the right way. I found efficiencies in it. Think about that. The second thing I found, all of a sudden I got the whole year, and everyone thinks you're so great and abundant and philanthropic for giving your time to help others. Meanwhile, in order to find that time, all I did was brush, floss my teeth, and took Listerine with focus. Find those efficiencies, starts with the things that you do the most and work your way out, but keep searching for 4 minutes. I'm going to give everybody 2 weeks vacation right now. On average, people take about 80 hours a year. 80 hours a year they spend. 80 hours a year you spend looking for things that you lost, looking for things you don't know where it is. Most commonly, it's your wallet, your phone, and your keys. So today is the day that you start a habit of putting your keys, your wallet, and your phone always in the same spot. And I just gave you full 2 weeks of productivity back. Even if I'm wrong and it's 40 hours, even if I'm wrong, it's 10 hours, it's sure worth the time to be disciplined to put your phone, your wallet, and your keys all in the same spot. But I've been told it's 80 hours that we spend looking for stuff. I get anxious making phone calls. How do I get better at it? Number one, practice. Practice making phone calls. 2, determine why and what happens when you make a phone call. The first thing that happens when you make a phone call is either somebody answers or somebody doesn't. 80% of the time, somebody doesn't. Therefore, if we're going to practice making phone calls, we should practice doing what people do when they don't answer. And let me give you a little tip. If somebody doesn't answer, there's only one thing that you want to do, and that's just your mother-in-law. Do you know what that is? You want them to call you back. So don't sell on the phone. Don't explain on the phone. Don't tell a story on the phone. Don't waste people's time. Simply, with the highest statistical success, when you call, 80% of the time they don't answer, just leave a message that will be stimulating interest to call you back. Nothing more. Do not sell features and benefits. Do not look for credibility. Do not tell a story. Do not leave a message. Okay? 80% of the time. The other 20% of the time, practice that as well. Somebody's answers. Now, what do we want to do? We want to transition that interest into a shared vision. We want to either set up another call, send collateral, or actually have a sales call, whatever it may be, or just have a conversation to unwind. But whatever your objective is, your decision. But the first step is to realize 80% of the time people don't answer, 20% of the time they do. If they don't answer, unless it's your mother-in-law, it means get them to call you back. If they do answer, it's to stimulate interest, transition interest, and share a vision. Okay, hi, I have a question about asking for what you want. specifically knowing exactly what that help may look like from the person you are asking. Hope that makes sense. Thank you for your time. The only way that we know how somebody can help us is to extend it out and ask for help through them. So the easiest way is to, number one, ask open-ended questions of what they do today, what they like about it, what they don't like about it. Give them leading questions on how you could be of service or value. Would it help you if I cleaned your car? Would it help you if my youngest daughter babysat for you? Would it help you if I gave you a loan at 8% interest? Whatever it may be, you need to ask them. But moreover, to simply ask for help, all I do is say, do you know anyone that can help me? I'm looking for someone that can wash my car, babysit, or give me a loan for 8%, whatever it may be. How easy is that? Do you know anyone that can help me? I don't even have to ask questions about what they have as capability, skills, knowledge, or desire. I don't have to, because I know on average, everybody knows about 1,000 people, and you can't out ask the universe. And if you ask somebody for help, you become an investment of that person. They're going to continue to want to help you. They're going to go ahead and attach their own credibility to you because they've given you help. It's an extraordinary thing. I learned in Ben Franklin's autobiography, the best thing you can do is ask for help. And the best way to ask for help, do you know anyone that can help me? I meditated, then wrote and posted on my blog. I felt amazing, then let it go and didn't think about it to live the rest of my day. Just keep doing that every day. So remember, 2 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours or 20 hours on a Saturday. So if we want and find something that makes us feel good, if we find something that produces productivity, accessibility, and gratitude in our life, then we want to practice it. And so we want to make sure that we put enough time into it every day, that we'll do it every day. And yes, do it every day. If you can find your highest frequency at the beginning of the day, use that as a baseline, you will plateau and grow. Most people live their lives like the myth of Sisyphus. That hard work question, remember? Talk about it. Sisyphus, that hard work, pushing the boulder to the top of the hill every day, just to have it roll down to the bottom the next day. Now, if you meditate, you're able to find your highest frequency. You're able to find that plateau every day and grow from it. It gives you a point of reference to move from and to get back to. It's an incredible feat. And that's why meditation is so important, because it allows us to find that frequency, to elevate our vibration, to find a higher awareness. Remember, we can only be aware of that which vibrates equal to or less than ourselves. The earth vibrates the slowest, then plants, animals, humans, sound, light, and then thought. And the reason we enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of our highest thought, our potential, because the truth vibrates the fastest. And the closer we get to the truth, the more we can be aware of. I had one of my coaching clients today. I was talking with him, and he was talking about, oh my God, I can't believe how simple. I took the day off yesterday. I got clarity, balance, and focus, and my whole life changed. I've been working for 2 years, Dave, and it's so simple. Why? Because he was able to elevate his frequency and awareness. He's been meditating, but he got so far in his own way, he forgot to take a step back and look how simple his awareness, the truth, it lied there already for him. I feel like my superiors don't prioritize me. Now, this is different than micromanaging and different than acknowledging. I feel like my superiors don't prioritize me and just treat me like a cost of goods, a cost. How to change the way they look at me? If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Change the way you look at yourself. A lot of times we perceive what others see, and a lot of times we're wrong. And I have that in my own family a lot of times. My Jill Awesome, my wife Julie, who's awesome, she'll say something to me, well, you think this. And I was like, I don't think that at all. Yeah, but you said this. I didn't actually say that. I said something similar to that with a different intention, because I love you and I care about you and I was curious about this, not that I wanted to diminish your capacity or not prioritize you. So what we want to do is understand ourselves, right? We're not imposters. We are worthy. And people will prioritize us and treat you better if we treat ourselves better. You can't give what you don't have. Here's the funny thing about trying to get people to prioritize us, like us, pay attention to us, is that when we seek approvals of others, it's the worst way of getting approvals of others. When we learn to love ourselves, when we seek approval of ourselves, it's the best way to get approval. I've tried to teach my teenage daughters this, if you want somebody to like you, don't chase them, right? Learn to love you and they will chase you. For a new web/app business, would you typically build a prototype first and then get feedback and start building the brand? Or would you start building the brand and the feedback earlier while still in the idea stage? I would build a community. I would build a community based upon the capabilities of what you perceive your web app to be. So build a community based off of the need and get input on that need, and then create a roadmap, create a skeleton, a CAD, whatever it may be, according to the community that you perceive to have that need. So many people make the mistake and they build a product that nobody needs because they have no community, and then they don't have enough money to build a community around a product that nobody needs. The first step to anything is to build your community around the idea, around whatever idea. I want to be able to speak into my phone and convert into 99 languages instantaneously. And so I go ahead and build a community, build content about how nice would it be if we had artificial intelligence that would change not only what I said into another language, but take my intonation and my connotation and be able to visually and verbally change that to somebody automatically. And if I could do that, I could sell it to the biggest platforms like the iOS and the Android and be able to facilitate billions of people on earth. What? Communicating better. And if we communicated better, think about the billions and billions of dollars and what social impact it would have if we all could speak the same language within the context of what we know and the annotation and connotation that we wanted or desired. Build a community around that idea and then develop it. Then develop it. Don't do it backwards. What questions are important to ask your significant other? Number one, how can I be of service? How do you feel? Two questions, right? How can I be of service to you? And how do you feel? Right? People can control the way they think, feel, do, think, say, and do. But when you ask somebody how you can be of service or of value to them, and you ask how you feel, you're getting to the pragmatic and the faithful currencies of being able to interact with those most relative to us, those most significant to us. And those simple questions you should be asking every day. Is there anything I can do for you? How can I be of service? Whatever it comes out of your mouth. And then two, how do you feel? How do you feel? And don't just accept okay. You can then say, why do you feel that way? Because when we know how people feel, we can improve the way they feel. In other words, make more money, help more people, have more fun, make them happy, right? That great virus that I try to teach over 1 billion people to empower others to be happy. That's the significant people in my life. I have one objective. I want you to feel good. That's why I communicate with my mom every day. Number one, I'm happy. Two, I'm healthy. Three, I love you. And four, I appreciate you. That creates a bond with those most significant in my life, those most relative to me in my life. I'm happy, healthy, I love you, and appreciate you. Let's make sure we know how we feel and how we can be of service to make sure that all four of those are true. What inspires you to continue to get 1% better every day? A minimum of 1%. I hate limiting myself. My potential, the idea that I am connected to, I'm an expression of genius. I'm not a genius at all. I'm an expression of genius. I'm an expression of that which I'm connected to, this unbelievable source of power, light, love, lessons. I'm connected to something that's so extraordinary. And what inspires me is that I want to learn how to access that power with a clearer connection and allow it to come through me with appreciation, with gratitude, and my own values added to it, so that I could do the same to the which is connected to me. Every people, person, and place that's connected to me, it can come through me. So if I can harness what already exists, this extraordinary power, and add my own value to it and give it away without dissipating or diluting that power, that's what inspires me to expand, accelerate, and grow for the benefit of others, to make more money, help more people, and have more fun. In other words, to be happy and to spread that happiness. People that are happy don't get sick. They don't attack other people. They live in abundance. They have more than enough of everything for everyone. Happiness strengthens you emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. Happiness actually will strengthen your immune system. So it'll actually protect us against other viruses. Extraordinary thing, happiness. And that's what I do this for, to help all of you make more money, help more people, and have more fun, and to be happy. What are some tips to communicate more skillfully, as I slur my words for everyone? Number one is practice. Remember, it's not what you say, it's what you hear. So one of the tips of communicating skillfully is to learn open-ended questions, learn leading or closed-ended questions, and learn how to summarize. One of the things about listening is far more important, obviously, with those three components than speaking. And when you learn open-ended, closed-ended questions in summary, it'll be a test of what kind of listener you are. Now, there's three kind of listeners, by the way. There's the one that I was when I was a kid. I was an interrupter, which meant I didn't really care what you said. I just interrupted and told you what I wanted to tell you. Then I got older and a little bit more diplomatic and clever and manipulative, and I learned to be what was called a waiter. So what I would do is you would talk and I'd pretend like I was listening, and I'd just wait to tell you what I wanted to tell you. A little bit more diplomatic. And then I learned to be more interested than interesting. I learned to ask open-ended questions, to gather information, and then utilize and process that information with closed-ended questions to lead you to the value and service that I could provide that's aligned with the values and service that you have, and create that synergy. And then as I got even older, so I'm 52, which is old. When I got even older, I learned one thing: to summarize. Why? Because so many times, like we said earlier, I didn't understand what people heard. In my mind, it was really clear what I was saying, but in my 17-year-old's mind, it certainly wasn't. In my wife's mind, my 10-year-old's mind, my family's mind, my friend's mind, my associate's mind, my employee's mind, my neighbor's mind, wasn't even close to clear until I learned that third component of being more interested than interesting: summary. So what I hear you're telling me is, let me summarize this, right? I'll even do it in writing. Some people say, can I put that in writing? Why? Not that I don't trust you, but I want to remember what I promised to do, because I want to be a promise keeper. And in order to do that, I have to summarize and create a bond, a synergy between you and I, that you actually heard what I was trying to say, not just the words, but the intent of what I was saying. You able to regurgitate what that communication was. That's how. Don't be an interrupter. Don't be a waiter. Be more interested than interesting. Trust me. Best piece of advice I got since I was 18 years old. Beautiful advice from my older brother. Good morning. Good morning, Jackie. I know it's very, very dark there in New Zealand. Welcome from Bay of Plenty, New Zealand. Happy to be here, David. Thank you. How can people avoid getting burnt out? Okay. First of all, people that are burnt out are not utilizing the source correctly. People that are burnt out, they are not taking vacation every day. People that are burnt out are not lowering the bar and doing things in the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of their potential. People that are getting burnt out are creating too much shade on the light. The light's gone out because you created interference, void, shortages, and obstacles through the practice of ending fear. You can open that back up. If you take inventory of your values, if you ask and attract those questions that I said of not only how you can be of service, but do you know anyone that can help me? If you're a student of your calendar, utilizing the mathematical equation of luck, what I pay attention to, what I give intention to equals the coincidences I want, with the lenses of productivity, of how much value you're going to provide, a lens of accessibility, of how accessible you are to others and how you're receiving. How are you accessing what you want? And most importantly, a lens of gratitude. A lens where you're seeking the light, the love, and the lessons, not the darkness and the burnt outness of your life, not every once a week, but every single day. And then if you're doing things now, right? The difference between people that do things now and people that don't is 100% of the successful people in the world get things done. Only way to get things done is to do it now, because 100% of the things you do now get done. You hear me? And then last, if you practice ending fear, you are constantly trying to clear the connection. So it's impossible for the light to go out. It's impossible for you to burn out. When you're constantly trying to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential by clearing the interference, clearing the voids, clearing the shortages, you're just letting more light in every single day. I vacation every single day. I have a wind down routine so that I physically get enough rest that I need, that I emotionally and spiritually get inspired and clear that connection, not only when I'm awake consciously through the activities I get paid for and the activities I don't get paid for, from studying what I have planned, what I don't have planned in my sleep, but more importantly, even when I'm sleeping, I'm connected unconsciously, subconsciously. Wow, I'm connected with a clear connection. There is no burnout. That you got to understand. There's a difference between motivation, right? Fear will motivate you. A ton of things will motivate you. Motivation will get you up and get you back up. Motivation will get you started and get you back started back up. But you got to learn to transition that, because fear as a motivator, for example, will suck your soul and burn you out. But if all you're using is motivation to get up and get back up, get started and get restarted, and then transition that into the focus of enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential by clearing the interferences, voids, and shortages, you'll never burn out. You'll lighten and brighten up, which will allow you to lighten and brighten up others, liberate others to do the same. This is what we're talking about, empowerment. Do not burn out. You don't need to take 6 weeks off. If you do, you're doing it wrong. 2 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday. Vacation every day of your life. Oh, sorry, you got me fired up on that one. When is the best time to meditate, and what is the best tip for successful meditation? Number one, the best time to meditate is when you can meditate, because the best tip in meditation is to do it every day, to practice it every day. It's just like golf. You're not going to be able to, draw a ball to the green your first time playing, right? It's a practice of quietness. And just to understand what that means, to practice quietness is difficult because you're always getting interferences, voices and chatter and all these different things that occur. And you're like, what the heck is this? Why do I feel so uncomfortable holding the club this way? Exactly. So the best tip in meditation is to find a time that allows you to do it every day, and do it every day. And keep on practicing, keep on striving to get better and more clear and more quiet. Be able to find your center, your peace, to be able to be in the flow. It lessens the interference. It gives you a baseline, a higher frequency. It raises your vibration, which raises your awareness. In a practical sense, it'll allow you to know when to buy or sell, which, by the way, if you want a skill over the next 24 months, learn to buy or sell. Learn to find out through mentorship, through experience, through history. I promise you, there's going to be margins of millionaires made. The light, the love, and the lesson will be fine. Learn to see when things are oversold and buy them. Learn to see when they're overbought and sell them. This is a key. This is where the pragmatic world comes in and blends with the faith. You got to be able to ask for help and have the humility to realize that this is historical in the context that human nature never changes. You can learn to do this. Go ahead, reach out to me, right? I have private group that I'm starting up on this buy or sell. We got, of course, one-on-one help, but this is where real money is made. And if the next 24 months is going to be one of those periods of time where the margins of millionaires are made. All right. When setting goals, how do we measure our accomplishments without being attached to the outcome in time? Emotions, right? I am an emotional quantitative person. So I go off of not the size of my bank account or what other people care about or vote for me. I care about how I feel. And if I'm able to keep on plateauing and growing and elevating my point of baseline, my frequency, then I know that I'm measuring my incremental growth, the acceleration that I want in order to create the segmentation of compound interest to the positive. If I feel worse, then I can see that I have some work to do, that pain, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial pain is only an indicator. And so then now, just like a turn signal, I need to move in a different direction, right? Here's the problem with most people. I talked about this earlier today to one of my IGs, I think. Most people see pain as a break. Oh, pain, gotta stop. I gotta stop. Oh, that hurts. Mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial pain. Oh my God, I gotta quit. I gotta stop. No, pain is an indicator. It's a turn signal. Pain indicates that you have a lesson to learn. You have an opportunity to grow and accelerate. And when you expand and accelerate, it creates a vacuum, right? When things expand, it creates a vacuum. And here's the problem beyond that. Most people don't even go to the next step, that not only knowing that pain is an indicator, a turn signal, not a break, but beyond that, after we realize that pain is an indicator, and what we indicate as pain is the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, whatever it may be. Now we have to go a step farther and ask for help. We need to ask the universe, and you cannot ask the universe for what to fill that with. And unfortunately, most people that can expand and grow and accelerate don't take the next step, which is the most important step, to pick and vote for what they want to fill the vacuum. They've done all the work, consistent, persistent enjoyment to pursue, and then they vote for what other people want for them or what they don't want for themselves. And then they wonder why they're in the same place or worse off, even though they're thinking, saying, doing, and believing all the right things. How can it be? How? Because they don't understand expansion and growth, acceleration, segmentation. They see pain as a break. It is not a break. It's the turn signal. It's telling you, hey, let's learn something. So we got to go to the GPS or the map to learn it, meaning the people who know the directions already, and ask them, hey, can you get me there or teach me how to get there? That's all it is. Pain is an indicator, a turn signal telling you, you got to go in a better direction to get somewhere better or make your situation you're in. That's all it is. It's not the break. Don't allow it to cause interference, void shortages, and stop you from getting what you want and allowing you to fill your vacuum with what you want. All right. That got me fired up too. Woo! I didn't quite understand ego-based consciousness. Yeah, most people don't. It takes a little time. I know fear was the one you used. Would pride be another? Yes. So there's the consciousness of truth is peace, is love, is light, is lessons. And then the ego-based consciousness is that which interferes to that. So for me, I am constantly trying to build my repertoire of ego. I'm trying to build my vocabulary and repository of ego, because in order to effectuate not being in my own way, I have to, 1, identify the ego, 2, stop when I identify it, 3, drop down to that center, right, by breathing like a ferocious Buddha, and then ferociously move it in the right direction towards what I do want. And so in order to understand the ego-based consciousness, it's the interference consciousness. It's the void, shortage, and resistance, scarcity consciousness. And so I define it as, for me, here's some of mine that need to be right. I've wasted more time, emotion, and resources and money in my life having a need to be right. If I just would have been kind instead. A need to be offended, still one of my triggers, right? I'm still based off of judgments and conditions and trading and negotiation. It's built within the sales system, the quantum memory that I have, the training that I've received since I've been a little boy, the scarcity that I experienced as a victim in a world of not enough, begging for food and living with 6 kids and a single mom, all the different things I experienced. But the truth is, it's just a trigger for me that I work on every day. I have no need to be offended, no need to be right, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, angry, worried, guilty, prideful, all of those. All they do is create interference. And not only do they create interference between us and this great source of light, love, and lessons that have put us into the right direction, it actually, unfortunately, accelerates us in the wrong direction. It creates all types of dose of adrenaline and dopamine and serotonin and endorphins that get us really hyped up. So we're moving in the wrong direction at a terrible speed. Instead, if we could stop, drop, and roll in the right direction, we can be more productive, accessible, and gracious. We don't have to wait the time, the resources, the money that we all have wasted. Just take worrying, for example. If we could just aggregate, with the thousands of people that will watch this, all the time, emotions, and money that was wasted on worrying, imagine how many people we could feed. Imagine how clean we could make the air. Imagine how much fun we could have. In a pitch, is there such a thing as too much quantitative data in your pitch? Well, it depends on how much time you pitch and who your audience is. Let me tell you the 5 things that I look for. Now, we have a pitch competition. We've been blessed, picked up by Bloomberg. We're on Reach TV. We're on all different platforms. But the 2-minute drill gives you 2 minutes to pitch. And if you have not applied or do not want to join, if you do want to join, david@dmeltzer.com. david@dmeltzer.com. Text me 949-298-2905. Same number to get the free books, the exercises, the guides, and the replays. david@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Here's how a pitch goes. 1, the most important thing in a pitch, do I hear it? Yes, credibility. Why? Because in a pitch, if I'm 100% credible, you'll do anything I say. If I'm 100% credible, all I have to do is say, send me $1 million, I'll give you $2 million at the end of the year, and you would do it. Very hard to attain 100% credibility, but we should focus in on and make sure that we're not overselling, back-end selling, lying, cheating, manipulating, that we're being as truthful as possible to illuminate the weaknesses, enhance the strength, but make sure that we are aligned with that frequency of truth. That credibility will be worth more than anything else. The second thing is emotional, right? We need to have an emotional attachment. People have to like it. Very, very important. So we got to find out what they like and don't like and see what capabilities we have that are aligned with what they like and don't like. Now, the rest, quantitative data. It's not too much or too little. It's just enough that allows us to quantitatively talk about, here's the reasons quantitatively that you should do this. Here's the quantitative impact that we have. And finally, here's quantitatively the capabilities, the skills, the knowledge of what and who I have in order to effectuate the desire to what? Provide a guarantee that you can't see any reason you won't want to move forward. In other words, the 120 rule. Everything in my life goes by an indicator of 120 rules. I wake up in the morning and I dream about bags and bags of $100 bills all around me. And I feel and I see the energy and frequency of handing out $100 bills to everybody and trading it for 20 back. Would you like $100? Can I have 20 back? That's exactly what we do when we pitch. Here's $100. Give me 20 and you'll get 100. Guaranteed. Can you see any reason you won't want to move forward? That's all you got to do. And that's the quantitative part. Whether you have enough analysis to get to the point where they can't see any reason you won't want to move forward is the key. Whether it's too much or too little determines upon that analysis and that outcome. Describe a time when you turned a problem into a solution. And do you believe that's an effective strategy in business and in life? So there's multiple times I've turned a problem into a solution. That's because the solution, a problem to me is an opportunity to grow, learn. So anytime I find a lesson in a challenge, I have found it turned a problem into a solution. And so for me, let me get a problem that I just went, oh, I know, here. I was at the airport. I had taken my daughter to college and I turned a problem. I was late getting on a flight and I miscommunicated because I was impatient and in a hurry. And instead of telling what type of passenger I was, I just said I'm on the standby list and I got bumped. And I was with my wife and we were coming home and I wanted to see my son and I wanted to be home. I immediately looked for the light, the love, and the lessons. And I thought to myself, okay, what airports can I fly into and who can pick me up and what value can I have with the conversation of that person picking me up? And I picked one of my favorite employees who I knew lived by another airport that was just 30 minutes farther away. And I called and asked, hey, would you like to spend an hour with me? Because I'm going to switch flights and I'd love to spend an hour. People find great value in one-on-one coaching. I will gladly pay you to pick me up as well quantitatively, but more importantly, would you like to spend an hour one-on-one with me? And I turned this huge problem. My wife immediately is like, I'm so sorry, because she had to go to the bathroom. She made me late. And the old David Meltzer would have attacked her, blamed her, shame, blame, justification, ruined my whole night. Instead, I simply found the light, the love, and the lessons in it, immediately switched flights. I told her, she said, are you okay? I said, I'm blessed. I'm blessed that, number one, I have the experience, situational knowledge, the dummy tax that I paid in the past, and two, that I have the capability to quickly change a flight, afford to pay for the flight, and have so many wonderful people that are willing to pick me up to spend time with me. So not only that I can empower them, but I can learn myself. And I had an extraordinary time. I'm so efficient at the airport. I was only 15 minutes behind my wife when I got home. And I had a much more valuable experience than I would have, unfortunately, I'm going to tell Jewel Awesome there, than flying home with my wife napping on my shoulder. Much more inspirational and valuable to me. Not that I don't value her lying on my shoulder and resting, but this was more valuable to me. I feel like my coworker is always BSing me. How to call him out without causing issues? Well, first of all, if you're surrounding yourself with BSers, look within. I was a victim of myself, that I, instead of asking, what did I do to attract this and what am I supposed to learn from it? I went ahead and did what you did and said, oh, I'm surrounded by these people BSing me. I need to call them out. Number one, it takes as much time, emotion, and energy to change somebody that has a closed mind than it does to change somebody that 1,000 people that have an open mind. In other words, surround yourself with the right people and the right ideas. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. It's not your job to call somebody out. One of the things that I have found, sorry, I'm switching there. One of the things that I have found is that when we are aggravated with somebody else, we have to look within and see what it is about ourselves we don't like. If somebody may not be telling the truth and it is impacting you and you want to see a change, the best way to do it is to ask questions without attacking or creating resistance. So if somebody's exaggerating, overselling, back-end selling, manipulating you, the best way to do is allow them to know it by just simply asking questions. Somebody tells me something that's exaggerated, and they'll say, for example, in a pitch, our revenue's up 300% this year. Now, I want to find out. I feel like you're BSing me. So I don't just say, really? What does that mean? So I'll ask, oh, terrific. That's awesome. How much revenue did you have last year? $2. Oh, so you did $600 of revenue this year. Oh, that's awesome progress. Congratulations. Basically, I just called you out as a bullshitter, right? Ask the right questions, allow them to understand and to know what you're saying without attacking, putting judgment, separation onto those people, because that won't change them. What you resist persists. They'll continue to feel offended or resentful or guilty or separate or inferior when you do it. If you ask the right questions diplomatically, you can get the point across, but also without changing yourself. I do say, though, take it from the BSer of all BSers when I was young. Look within yourself. If you're attracting BSers, you must be BSing yourself. Don't lie to yourself like I did. Ugh. Anyway, how do you know when to call it a day and get rest? Well, for me, I have two routines. So my first routine includes a wind down routine that makes sure that I pass out before 11. And that wind down routine starts at 9 p.m. And sometimes 9:05 I'm out, sometimes 10:35 I'm out. It just varies. But I have a specific wind down routine that makes sure that mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, that I'm winding things down. And I also make sure that during the day with productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, that I'm using all my energy so I don't have any left. And whatever is left during the wind down routine will be dissipated and diluted into the fact that I am mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally exhausted out in order to what? Rejuvenate, connect, inspire, all the different things that happen. So make sure you have a wind down routine, and you will naturally get the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual rest that you need every single day. Routine is critical. To wake up at the same time every day on whatever coast or country you're in. I've done that for years. I also got a sleep coach. Like anything else, I don't know what I don't know. I look for people with 30, 40 years experience, situational knowledge, paid the dummy tax in order to determine how best I can maximize, just like anything else. I can see the play, but they can see the field. I want to be able to do both. So I use people that are experts, people that sit in the situation that I want to be in order to effectuate what I want. In order to do so, I need to know what I want. I also have an adaptable routine to make sure that on the days when I can't stick to my normal routine, that I'm spending time on my non-negotiables. Number one non-negotiable is my health, which I spend a minimum of 1 hour on. Number two is my family. So I spend a minimum of 30 minutes with my wife, 30 minutes with my 10-year-old, 2 minutes with my daughters, and 1 with my mom. And last non-negotiable is studying, paying attention to, giving intention to the coincidences I want. That's right, the mathematical equation of luck. It rears its ugly head again in order to create the luck that I have. And I do that as a non-negotiable. Number one non-negotiable is I study my calendar, what I plan, what I don't have planned, and sleep once again with the lens of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude. All beautiful. All will help you expand, grow, create the vacuum, and to fill it with what you want. How did you learn to love selling legal research online? And who and what taught you how to learn to love it? I learned to find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything. And selling legal research online, because I valued making money, because I wanted to buy my mom a house and a car, I, for the first time, determined that no matter what it was going to take, whether it was shoveling poo-poo with my hands 12 hours a day, 6 days a week to buy my mom a house and a car, I was going to learn to love that. I was lucky. Selling legal research online was much easier than hand shoveling poo. But moreover, I learned that it's very valuable not to love everything you do, because there's a percentage of suck in everything. And I learned this later when I ran Leigh Steinberg Sports Entertainment, most notable sports agency in the world. I was surrounded by the celebrities, athletes, entertainers. I had access to the Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, Masters, Kentucky Derby, award shows like the ESPYs, Emmys, Oscars, Grammys. And everybody wanted to be all these people and wanted to be at all these places. And the same amount of percentage sucked about those people and sucked about those places as any other time in my life. They were just different. The only difference too is that the common denominator, that they have the ability to find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything they do, which allowed them to have a spirit of excellence, to have a must be what they can be attitude, and manifest some great things beyond the suck. And that's what finding the light, love, and lessons in selling legal research was it allows me to do great things beyond the suck, because the suck will always be present. All right. Hey, David, I run a medical supply business with 27 employees, and we have been supplying PPE for hospitals and health and entities. I have a few questions regarding PO financing for a deal with Ascension Health, the largest nonprofit. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Got plenty of help for you. Anybody needs help in that kind of direction of an introduction, if you want some one-on-one business advisory, if you want to join a private group of mine, just david@dmeltzer.com. Text me 949-298-2905. I am here to help. This exact situation. Find the people that have the what. That's right. What you want, what you need. Ask them for it, or ask them to teach you how to get it. Can you talk to how we place past experience perceptions on current situations? Well, the only way that we can have a point of reference on what is happening now is by what we've experienced in the past. Now, that could be from genetics, right, that we don't even have conscious recollection of, or it could be past lives, if you believe in that, which we don't have conscious recollection of. But we need a point of reference. If you had never seen and had no point of reference of a boat could come up and I think you won't even see it. And I know there's a movie called Blink, and this may go way off, but we always use our past history and knowledge and experience as a point of reference to see or project what we see in front of us. We're not receiving, right? Our eyes are actually projecting from our brains, our thoughts, on an object. And we give meaning to everything we see. Let me repeat that. You're a projector that gives meaning to everything you see. You project the meaning, your perceptions on things that you see that only have a point of reference of what you see. I believe there's things that are all around us that we aren't seeing, that we can only be aware of with our weak senses and our weak memories, that which vibrates equal to or less than us. So there's many things that have been there for years and years and all of a sudden appear. Right? When I was lost at my low 2 years before I lost everything, and I was thinking about getting divorced, and I was in a state of ego, so mad and angry, and I was going to take and steal my wife's happiness. Somehow that jacket my dad had given me to remind me that I can't take things when I'm gone, that I'm going to die the richest man in the cemetery, that I was just like him, that I was a liar, a manipulator, a cheater, an overseller, and a back-end seller. And that I had to live and take stock in who I was and what I wanted to become. I wanted to live with gratitude. I wanted to be the guy to find the light, the love, and the lessons in all the suck that exists. I wanted to be forgiving. I wanted to use forgiveness as a means to unwind all the illusions of those projections of the present that I have from the past that I had. I want to be accountable for everything. I want to say to myself, what did I do to attract this to myself, and what am I supposed to learn for it? No longer did I want to live in ego-based consciousness and interferences, voids, shortages, obstacles, unhappiness. I wanted to live inspired, in spirit. I wanted to clear all that corrosion and interference. I wanted to live happy, and I wanted to do it with Jalosum, my wife. That jacket I didn't see for years. Somehow, my vibration and frequency, I elevated it, and it was there. I projected. I utilized all the past experiences, feelings, etc., onto that jacket, and it gave meaning to my life, to everything I see. What's a skill that you've carried through every business venture? Well, the number one skill that I have is I must be that what I can be. And more interested than interesting. These are two great skills. This time management skills I have is another one I've carried in every business venture. The skill of looking for 4 minutes, communication skills of being able to be more interested at listening instead of being an interrupter or a waiter. Those are all great ones. How do you deal with imposter syndrome when it comes to a startup when you are plotting in uncharted waters? Well, I find it interesting. It's like hard work. Who here is not charting in uncharted waters? Because please email me at david@dmeltzer.com or text me at 949-298-2905. 2905 if you are not charting in uncharted waters, because that means you know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or a year from now. And we don't. So the imposter syndrome stems from you not taking inventory of your values. If you take inventory of your values, your personal values, your experiential values, your receiving values, and your giving values, if you take inventory of those 4 values and decide how to weight them every single day and not be afraid of being a hypocrite, not being afraid to say, you know what, I changed my mind. I didn't know what I didn't know yesterday. I was wrong. I learned something. I'm finding the light, the love, and the lessons. I turned my pain into a lesson, which allowed me to expand and fill it with something better in that vacuum. If you do that, you won't feel like an imposter because you'll know who you are. You'll have your identity. You'll be able to make decisions quicker. You'll know when you're surrounding yourself with the wrong people, the wrong ideas. You'll be able to feel good. And most importantly, you will learn to love you. And if you learn to love you, because you can only give what you have, others will love you too. If you learn to forgive yourself, others will forgive you too. You are health. You are wealth. You are wisdom. You are you, and learn to love it, and others will too. Hi, Mr. Meltzer. How do you know when to pivot your services, or if you just haven't given it enough time? Well, it's an evolution, not a pivot. And so once again, what we want to do is make sure that we are aligning the skills, the knowledge, and the desire of the business with 3 things. 1, what's doing well today, what's stable today, and what we think will do well in the future that's beat to shit right now. And if you can align your capabilities of your business, you will continue to adjust and evolve. You don't necessarily have to pivot. And what indicates how we adjust and evolve? Pain. Mental, physical, spiritual, emotional pain that tells us I have a lesson to learn what capabilities are doing well. I have a lesson to learn what capabilities are stable. And I have a lesson to learn about what's going to be doing well that I can get exponential growth and opportunity from. But we don't do that unless we understand what those capabilities are, the skills of our business, the knowledge of our business, not only what knowledge it has, but who it knows, and also the desire of the business to stay in business and to exponentially grow, to have incredible enjoyment of consistent, persistent behavior, while what? Blending it with patience, allowing things to happen. Not saying that we don't have goals. I am fierce and ferocious in my goals, but I am a Buddha in allowing it to happen. Having trust and faith in the efforts that I take and the values that I have in order to effectuate it happening rapidly and accurately without me creating resistance, voids, and shortages. There are no gatekeepers. There are no blockers in what I do. There's only sponsors and power sponsors. There's only people that I can be of service and of value to, and that can be of service or value to me. Gigi, what is the best way to make people collaborate? First of all, we don't make people do anything. What we want to do is inspire people to collaborate. And the best way to do that is to raise their awareness of the similarities and the cohesiveness of their values, meaning that my superpowers may be your weakness, and move to a different place, your weakness may be my superpower. My wife and I have absolutely different superpowers. And without a doubt, together, collaborating, we are so much, right? It's 1 + 1 = 3 when it comes to me and Jalosum, right? That's exactly how I feel. And you can do the same. So I think by raising people's awareness of what each other's superpowers are and how they complement one another's, it will encourage and inspire them to collaborate. How to build your correct audience for your brand. You don't build the correct audience. It builds you. It attracts to you. What we want to practice on is creating as much content as we can, capturing it, modifying it for all the different platforms out there, person, email, phone, radio, print, TV, social media, capturing it, modifying it for it, amplifying it correctly with the right frequency and vibration in order to perpetuate it so that it continues to be a bug light for you, a repository for you that just keeps sucking in more and more people with like frequency to listen and resonate and to inspire and grow with. That's how your audience is built. You also do not attach to the audience. Do not count the audience. It's just like counting other people's money. Don't count other people's money, right? Don't count your audience. Look to inspire people. Look, for 2 ambassadors a year, just focusing on 2 people a year that will get you 2 more people to love you and see your frequency and awareness. And they'll get 2 more. And pretty soon in 20 years, 2 million people are getting 2 million people. And it may not take 20 years, right? Not only may you get the exponential growth and compound interest, but because you do things more efficiently, effectively with statistical success, you'll compress that acceleration. So maybe in year 1, you get 2, in year 11 months later, you get 4, and 10 months later, you get 8. So in 20 of those segments, which may be every week, you may be getting 2 million people getting 2 million people. Remember, all of these things, david@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Get my books, get my exercises, guides, sign up for the pitch competition, ask me for help, whatever you need, reach out, david@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. I want to start my consultant business from Bob's training on a full-time basis, but not getting enough clients. Bob Proctor. So if you're not getting enough clients, keep with it. Get stuck getting stuck. That means you're growing. You know, when you're stuck in a pair of shoes, this means because your feet are too big for the shoes that you're in. Your feet are too big for the shoes that you are in. Get better at what you do. Keep practicing what you do. Allow it to happen. It will happen. So you have to dive deeper, go deeper into what Bob taught you, and the clients will come. I don't understand what not enough clients are. Just focus in on one client. Sell through people. When you have satisfied clients, they will get you other satisfied clients. I never sell to anyone. I sell through them. And I do. I will make sure that let me empower you to empower others to empower others. So sell through your clients. Make sure that you are practiced. Ask questions. Ask for help. If things aren't working, go back to Bob and say, hey, Bob, why isn't this working? Last question, my friends. Remember, every Friday, next Friday is the pitch competition. Come watch people pitch. We have got so much awareness on this. We are so excited about it. It's August 28th, next Friday. David@dmeltzer.com to join. David@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Watch the replays of these every Monday on the Playbook. Please go to YouTube. It doesn't matter where it is. You can find it. It's all good. All right, last question. Here we go. How do you ask for advice from somebody stuck in their ego? Well, number one, why would you ask advice for someone stuck in your ego? And two, if you do ask advice, I would ask them about how to get unstuck or why they are stuck in their ego. We want to ask people for help that sit in a situation that we want to be in. We want to ask people help for their expertise and superpower. And so if there is someone that is not in a position to help you and not someone in a situation that you want to be in, then find somebody else to ask for help, or ask them, do you know anybody that can help me? And see if that reduces their ego and they say, yeah, me. So great questions today. This is BYOQ. Every Friday I am here. Go back and watch all the past. Go request help from me, guides, books, whatever you want. There's a free training course as well. I got all kinds of stuff for you. David@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And remember, most importantly, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks again.